This is the Insta360 X5. Let's go test it. And just so you know, I bought and paid for everything you're going to see in this video. Insta360 didn't send me anything. They're not sponsoring this video. And I try to film everything with the X5. So the first thing we need to do is talk about what 360 cameras are good for. And in my mind, they're good for a couple of things. One is behind the scenes shots. What's nice about that is you don't need to worry about where the camera's pointed. You can set the camera on the camera, or you can just set it on a pole somewhere and let it record, and you know you're capturing everything around you. Which leads me into something that 360 cameras are really good for, which is action, because when you're in the middle of action, like action sports and stuff like that, you don't really know where the action's gonna happen. You don't really wanna think about where the camera's being pointed. So having a 360 camera that's capturing everything really enables you to capture action sports, especially if you are the athlete, really well. But in one case, not necessarily action sports, but being able to capture everything in 360 came in really handy, like in this case here. I heard something take a big breath, and I was like, all right, a splash. I thought maybe it was waves on a rock, but there's not very many waves. And then I look around and three big sea lions pop their head up above the water. See if we can get them on camera here. Hi, buddy. That's a great example of where a 360 camera actually does come in really handy, because you're basically waiting to capture something that's going to happen, but you don't really know where it's going to happen, and then you don't have to worry about it because you're capturing everything everywhere. And honestly, like the 8K in this camera, it definitely is improved over the 5.7 or 4K of the X3. I don't know if it's improved over the X4. I messed with the X4 for a bit. I think they're pretty close. I do feel like it's a little better, but having the ability to capture everything around you and not knowing exactly where something's going to happen, it does enable you to know you're always going to capture the shot. But 360 cameras have also typically suffered from a lack of video quality because you're capturing a full 360 sphere with 8K, which is what the X5 does. But now that it is 8K, you actually get some really nice looking footage out of it. But to talk more about the footage, let's go a little farther up here and find a more suitable spot. So we need to talk about the footage, because the footage out of the X5 is good. Like, it's much better than the X3 was. It's better than the X4 was. It's much better dynamic range. I had the X4 for a while and I got rid of it because it just didn't have that. It didn't seem like it was that big of an upgrade, even though it had 8K. And you got to remember that 8K on these cameras is the 8K for the entire 360 sphere. So when you're outputting a flat, equal rectangular or a 9x16, 16x9 video, you're not outputting 8K. But because it films in 8K, it actually looks pretty good. Now I'm saying, it probably is outputting around 2.7K, maybe 3K, somewhere in there, but it's good enough that you can sharpen it up a little bit, work with it in post, put it on a 4K timeline, and it looks really decent. This is the first time a 360 camera, for me at least, has the footage I've liked it, liked working with it. I've liked using it in videos here and there. And I've been filming a ton, like all kinds of different situations, all different areas. And even in this situation right here, this is insanely high dynamic range. The sun is directly behind me. My face is completely in shadow, but you can still see everything you need to see. So the AI chip that Insta360 put in this camera to help with low light is also helping with daytime video. Like, I've been really impressed with how good the camera is. The one caveat to that is that Insta360, because we know DJI is releasing a video or a 360 camera soon, and because GoPro is probably going to release one too, you got to figure out a way to put a 10-bit log flat color profile in these cameras, I would say, for the X6 or something like that, because that's where, like, I think your 360 cameras are probably, at least up to now, the best on the market overall. But I think with the advent or addition to 10-bit color video, you guys would still be the best. Now, there's a reason I think the X5 is still better than at least the leaks that I've seen of the Osmo 360 and probably the GoPro 360. But I will say that the normal color profile, which is everything you've seen in this video with the 360 camera, is great. The colors look good, they're accurate, and I've really liked the footage. It's been really nice. You know, a lot of companies say that they improve the hardness of their glass, touchscreens, whatever. This time I actually believe it, because I actually ran over the camera with my car. I think the biggest improvement they made, though, is giving us user replaceable lenses. Because even though this isn't sponsored, and every sponsored review wrecked a lens, I actually did wreck a lens. Well, just like that, I broke a lens. It's easy to replace these lenses. I'm glad, because I got another scratch on them today. So I got to replace another lens. But I will say, I think from what I've seen of the leaked images of the DJI 360 action camera that's coming, that we probably won't even be able to buy in the US, and the potential GoPro 360, it doesn't look like either one of those have user replaceable lenses. So Insta360, that is fantastic. So the main problem that 360 cameras had in the past was that you had to work with them in post. And while that's still largely the case, like, you have to take this footage, put it into a program either on your phone, on your computer, and, you know, point the camera, get the footage pointed the way you want it, and offload it that way. So there's some extra workflow there. But Insta360 has done something with the X5 that actually made me like this camera a lot more. Instead of having to do all of that in post, now you have a Insta frame mode where it automatically tracks you, it's tracking my face right now, through the frame. And it gives you both the 360 file in 5.7K, and then it gives you a 1080p 9x16 or 16x9 horizontal or vertical video for you. You still have the 360 file if you want to go back and edit it in post, but you do get a full HD file straight out of the camera. Now, the X5 does support single lens mode, like many of its predecessors, which is useful if you don't want to mess with the footage at all in post. You just want to have it that way, take it straight off the camera, go straight to social media, single lens mode, super easy to use. Insta360 has made it super easy to film yourself and not have to work with 360 video in this camera. Really impressively. And that solved one of the biggest, I'd say, one of the bigger hindrances to working with a 360 camera is the fact that generally you had the extra workflow. Well, you don't really necessarily have to have that anymore. So when it comes to footage, you've got 8K 30, you've got 5.7K 60, but you also now have up to 4K 120, which is useful in certain situations. And of course, you have bullet time at 5.7K up to 120, or 3K up to 240. And then we need to talk about audio options. I have been using for almost all this video the Insta360 Air mic, or Mic Air, whatever they're calling it, which is fantastic and absolutely something you should get if you're getting this camera, because the audio is clean and clear and crisp. And if you have it under your shirt, like I've had it in almost all this video, it gives you a lot of wind protection without having to worry about putting on fuzzy bits or anything like that. So really good job on the microphone, Insta. But you can also get this GPS remote, which has a screen and controls, and it has a mic built into it as well. It has a mic on it. It has a fuzzy on it, so that's why I'm using it, because there's some wind. I don't think we're going to get a sunset, because it just doesn't look like that's going to happen with those clouds over there. I think one of the things I was impressed most about the Ace Pro 2, even though I didn't like the camera overall, was that the audio out of it was really good. And they've included that sort of functionality in the X5. So this is an example of the audio straight out of the camera. Now I'm talking to the front side, the opposite side of the screen, because it actually has this nice big mic in there. But this is straight out of camera. You can do some wind noise reduction stuff in post. There's really no wind out here right now, but you could do some noise reduction stuff in post if you wanted to. But overall, like, the audio out of the camera straight up is really good. But then I also tested the noise canceling with the Insta360 Mic Air. So right now I'm using the Mic Air. It's just under my shirt, and there is no noise reduction. I'm driving around in my car. Obviously there's noise, wind, stuff like that. But this gives you an idea. I am impressed by the sound quality out of this mic overall. It's actually pretty nice. It's actually really good, way better than a Bluetooth microphone is. So well done on that, Insta360. But let's listen and see how sound, or the noise canceling, sounds. And to turn noise canceling on, you just hit the button 2 times, the power button 2 real quick times, and that turns noise canceling on or off. And you can start and stop recording by pressing it once real quickly as well, which is nice. And it does power the camera on and off, so that's also really nice, being able to have that sort of remote control. But this is with noise reduction. Everything you've heard in the last couple minutes or seconds has been with noise reduction. How much better or worse does that sound? Typically, I don't do noise reduction in camera, but if you want to be quick and dirty about how you edit or deal with the video, then having it in camera can be nice. I prefer to do it at home with the more powerful tools on a computer. But the best thing about the Mic Air is obviously you can get a lot of distance between you and the camera and still get really good, clean, clear audio. I don't know why I left my kayaking gloves on, but probably not gonna be here very long anyway. But also, like, if you're enjoying or getting value out of this video, then consider subscribing. I go out and test and review camera equipment when I'm out documenting my adventures here in Alaska in some of the harshest conditions that you will find. One of the biggest limitations of 360 cameras in the past was low light. And Insta360's included their pure video mode, which does do a substantially better job than previous 360 cameras in low light situations. Still not what I would call a great low light camera, but if you're out, in a place where there's a fair amount of ambient light at night, like in a city or something like that, you can actually get some pretty usable results. Just don't expect insane good low light, but it's actually very impressive what they've been able to squeeze out of this little camera. Now, I've been using this camera in all kinds of different situations. I've taken it kayaking, which is nice that this camera's actually got some waterproof ability to it, so you can actually dunk it underwater if you need to. Now, if you're going to film with it underwater, you do need the dive case, because that corrects for the optical distortion that water brings when it's up against the lenses. But you can actually get some kind of cool shots with it underwater. And of course, it has like lots of hyperlapse modes, time-lapse modes. It just, they've really packed a lot of features into this. And I know I keep saying this, but like, I am impressed by the image quality. It does look good, and it gives you some really great results out of the camera, especially if you take a little bit of time to reframe and get stuff set the way you want in post. It's nice being able to shoot a couple of different angles when only shooting one angle. I use these 360 cameras inside of helicopters all the time because you never really know what you're going to see. It is nice to be able to have that ability to reframe and post and get what you need. But it's also nice that Insta360 has given us the tools to not have to do that now. They've given us that auto framing mode. They've given us some other options to be able to single lens mode and stuff, to be able to just capture footage straight out of the camera. It is pretty nice. I do like using these cameras as BTS cameras, especially if you're a creator or you work in film stuff and you want BTS cameras. These are great because you don't have to worry about getting it set up very well. You just set it somewhere, press record, and you're going to capture the scene and you're going to get something out of it regardless of what's going on, which is really useful, especially for somebody like me. But even in a case of walking on the beach in Hawaii, it's super easy to be able to capture some nice footage without having to worry about pointing the camera in the right direction all the time, which I think is partly one of the big strengths of 360 cameras, even if it does take a little bit extra time in post to reframe. But next, you're going to want to watch this video right here. I'll see you over there. As always, if you have questions, ask me in the comments below or join my live stream, which happens most Wednesday nights at 4 p.m. Alaska time, 8 p.m. Eastern. We're going to have more of a conversation. I can get to and answer questions that maybe I didn't get to in this video. I'll see you again soon in the next one, as soon as I hike back 5 miles.